All right. Good morning. My name is Brittany Power Lemary. I am a PhD student in the School of Middle Eastern and North African Studies. And I'm sorry. Oh, okay. All right. As I said, I'm a PhD student in the School of Middle Eastern and North African Studies. And I also happen to be married into a Moroccan family. So even though that's not my specialty in terms of my PhD, I focus on foodways in Israel-Palestine. I do have a great deal of experience with Moroccan cooking, but today we're talking about Jewish Moroccan cooking. I am Jewish, and so I do focus on that area as well. And we are going to be talking about a holiday that happens to be coming up this month on May 28th called Shavuot. Shavuot is the Feast of Weeks. It is thought to be the time that the Torah, the 5 books of Moses from the Hebrew Bible, the time that those were given to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai. So it is traditional on Shavuot Eve to eat a dairy meal. And the reason for that is that the Torah is often likened to milk because it's white and pure and sweet. And also, because of the Torah represents the promise of the Holy Land, which is flowing with milk and honey. In Morocco, there is the custom to eat matzah on Shavuot, because during the temple days on Shavuot, there were 2 bread offerings, one of leavened bread and one of matzah. So we eat leftover matzah from the holiday that just passed, Passover, on Shavuot to commemorate the 2 bread offerings, one of leavened and one of matzah. So I'm going to get started, and one of the things we're going to be doing today is mint tea. If you were in my last session, then this is going to be a little bit of a repeat for you. I'm just trying to let me set this down. So we're going to make mint tea, and you can do it in any kind of a tea kettle, but one with a basket is the easiest. You can always just put mint and tea into the body of the tea kettle with water and sugar. But if you have a basket, you just put a whole bunch of mint in. On the sides, I have inserted 2 green tea bags. Needs to be green tea. It can be done with loose tea, but most of us here in America usually use tea bags. So you just put 2 tea bags on the side. Then you're going to put sugar. You put the sugar to taste. You're just going to put the sugar directly into the tea kettle. And then you're going to add your water. And there's no need to stir, because when the tea boils, the sugar dissolves and it mixes in the boiling process. So you just put it in there and pour the water. And at that point, you put the little basket back in, and you want to put your heat on high. Yeah, and just let it go. This will start making some noise in a little while, but that's fine. Okay, so we're doing 1 cooked salad today, and let's there's just a little. Okay, we're doing 1 cooked salad today. And it is a very, very popular salad among Jews all over North Africa, Morocco, Tunisia, and Libya. It's similar to what is called tafouka in Morocco, but it's different in that the peppers and tomatoes, or the peppers, are not roasted first. Everything is done in the skillet, and it takes a little while. Of course, I've made all of these dishes ahead of time, so I'm just doing small portions to show you how it's done. By the way, you can, and I forgot to tell you, you can type questions into the Q&A feature, and I will be happy at the end of this demonstration to answer any questions you might have about this. You'll also find the ingredients at the website where you logged in for this session. So I put a little bit of olive oil in a pan, and I'm letting it heat a bit, and then I'm just going to put bell pepper that I have seeded and cut into pieces about this big. People often add a little bit of hot pepper. I'm not doing that today, although normally I would. I'm a big hot pepper fan. I'm a real chili head, but you know, a lot of people aren't. So you're going to put your tomato, and today I'm using grape tomatoes because right now we're in a crazy time, and this is what I was able to find in the store. I said in the ingredients list to do two, one large or two medium, I think is what I said on the tomatoes, which you would just dice and add in with your cut peppers. Now, for this recipe, you want to use garlic, a lot of garlic. We're just doing a tiny amount here. In the bigger recipe, I did like 5 cloves of garlic. And all you're going to do is you're going to smash that garlic with the back of a knife. And you're just going to, I'm going to turn this down a bit. You're just going to then remove the paper or the skin from the garlic. Do that again. When you do that, it makes it really easy to pull the paper off. It just comes away almost like magic once you bang it like that, which also opens it up and sort of releases the oil. So I'm going to just add that in just like that. I'm going to turn that down just slightly more. And then it's going to probably take about 20 minutes for that to completely cook. I need to move my, this over to fish. I didn't notice that. Okay, there we go. All right, so that is the beginning of the makuda. We'll be coming back to it a little bit later. I'm going to rinse my hands. I'm going to use, because I was just handling garlic, I'm going to use vinegar and water. You could also use straight lemon juice, but that will remove the smell and the taste of garlic from your hands so that you're not transferring it to other stuff. And we definitely do not want to do that right now because we're about to do the matzah component of this meal, which is a sweet component. So you're going to take matzah, and it was always done with whatever was left over from Passover. So I'm going to do 3 sheets of matzah over a bowl. I am going to start to just break this up. You're just going to keep breaking it. because you basically want to get it into sort of like, I don't know, a little larger than breadcrumbs, but not big chunky pieces. Thank you. So you're going to break it up so you have something kind of like this. And then we are going to, I forgot to pull one thing out, sorry. So then we're going to take the proverbial milk and honey that the Torah tells us flowed through the rivers of the Holy Land. And we are going to pour some milk into a bowl. And then we're going to pour some honey into that milk. Probably about 2 to 3 tablespoons, maybe a quarter of a cup of honey. And then you're going to whisk that together. It'll take a few minutes for the honey to combine with the milk. And then you're going to pour that over all the bits of matzah. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to just drizzle a little bit of honey over the top. And you can add a touch of cinnamon if you want. Some people do this, some people don't. Touch of cinnamon over the top. And then it just sits. I'm going to take it to the table. So then it just sits and everybody will get their own individual portion. And it's going to sort of bloat in the milk. It's going to soak up that milk and get soft and a bit like, a bit like a cold bread pudding, but not as set, looser. Okay, you can see that our tea is boiling nicely, so we can turn that off and let that sit. I'm just going to rinse my hands quickly. They were a little sticky from the honey. And we're going to give the makuda a stir. So with this, the idea is to let everything cook till it is just totally soft. And then at the end, we're going to add olive oil, salt, pepper, and a large dose of paprika. So now we're going to move on to, I'm just going to set this here. Okay, so now we're going to move on to a very interesting salad that is very, what did I do? That is very Moroccan. And it is a cucumber, lemon, onion salad. It's very refreshing and really just lovely. So we're going to start out by actually peeling our onion. You'll want to cut the ends off. You'll start with the sort of smaller area, and you're going to take your knife this way. I'm actually going to use the smaller knife for this part just so that it'll be easier for you to see. And you're going to come in and you're going to follow the contours of the citrus. You want to remove all the white pith as much as you possibly can. If you were peeling a grapefruit or an orange to be supremed for a salad maybe, or even to be, you know, macerated in champagne or something like that. Okay, so you remove all of that. And then you're going to, oh, there's a little more there. You want that removed. Okay, and then you're going to cut this in half, and you're going to separate sections. As you separate the sections, you're going to want to remove the seeds. I'm just going to drop there for now. And you want to separate those sections away from any of that white pith in the center that's holding it together. Remove the seeds. Separate the flesh. Okay. Okay. Separate that. Okay. With all of that. And just getting that core out of there. Making sure that you remove those seeds. Just a little bit more pith right there. The seed there. All right. Once you've done that, get rid of these seeds, get them out of the way. Once you've done that, you're going to chop the, oops, I see one more seed. You're going to chop this up coarsely. Doesn't have to be fine. Just chop it up. Okay. See a little pith there. Let's get rid of it. Oh, look, there was a seed too. Okay. And then you're just going to take and you're going to add a little salt on top of it. Okay. And you are going to toss it with the salt and you're going to set it aside. Then you're going to take and you're going to thinly slice your onion. Very, very thinly. Use your knuckles as a guide and keep your fingertips out of the way of your knife. Okay, very, very thinly. So you can see it's really, really thin pieces. Okay, and then you're going to move on to the cucumber. You're going to cut off both ends. After you cut off the ends, rinse your knife. There are very often bitter oils that accumulate in the ends of the cucumber, and you'll distribute those over the cucumber with your knife as you peel it and slice it if you don't rinse the knife after removing the ends. Okay, I'm doing this quickly. You'd want to take really all that skin off. A little bit's not going to hurt anything, but you really want to take it all off. But I'm just going really fast. Then you're going to cut these across this way. And then this way. And then you're going to want to remove the, you're going to want to remove the seeds. And to remove the seeds, you can just take, let's see, I'm not sure if you can see this. You're going to take your knife, you're going to go in right here and right in here. And then you're just going to pull, I said knife, I meant spoon. You're just going to pull through like that. Okay, let me do these others and then we'll slice and assemble this. I'm going to real quickly check on my, coming along nicely, but it needs to be moved around because even though a little caramelization is nice, you don't want too much caramelization on this. So you'll want to keep it moving. Okay. And then okay. Do I have one more to do? Yes, one more. These are at the wider end. If you try to do it from the narrower end, it's easy to break it. Okay. So then we're just going to do very, very, very thin slices on this as well. Just as thin as you can get it. It's moving around on me, sorry. There we go. We'll do both of these at the same time. I was a professional chef for about 15, 16 years. So I have been trained in classical culinary techniques, and I try to implement them most of the time. So we're going to start layering in our salad. You'll start with the cucumber, and then you'll do next the onions, and then over the top, your diced citrus flesh or diced lemon flesh. And then we're going to make a quick little dressing with olive oil. Black pepper. Black pepper. Remember that seasonings like salt, black pepper, sugar, those sorts of things should always be to your taste. And then the final ingredient for this salad is dry oregano that you're going to literally take between your fingers, and you're just going to crush it and sort of rub it between your fingers and let it fall into the dressing. And then we're just going to stir that together. And we are going to just drizzle it over the top. Very simple, but it's really delicious. Now, I made one last night. It's really nice if you can make this one ahead and leave it in the refrigerator and let it chill all night long. It really brings these flavors alive, especially once you pull it out and let it come back to room temperature. So that is that salad done. Now, this next salad is just, so let me just wipe this down quickly. Sorry, it's getting a little bit mucky and we don't want to be blending flavors across to different dishes. All right, so this next salad is also very, very Moroccan. Carrot salads are super popular in Morocco, and there are kind of two categories. There's the raw carrot salad, which is very fresh and sweet, savory, and then there is the cooked salad. I'm going to take a look at this again. The cooked carrot salad, which is tangy and savory, and can be done with either carrots sliced into coins or even like cubed or diced carrots, generally sliced into coins, sort of blanched, well, no, more than blanched, lightly sort of poached, and then dressed with like a chermoula dressing, which is a dressing of herbs and lemon and garlic. But this one is a raw one, and it's sweet and savory. It also has a wonderful, wonderful, refreshing ingredient in that it uses rose water, which gives it such an amazing perfume and this very heady sort of flavor that complements sweet in a way that I think nothing else does. All right, so the way we're going to do this is it's really very, very, very simple. So I'm going to use this one. We are going to take and we're just going to grate these carrots. I'm probably just going to do one just to show you. It's a super, super simple salad. Because as I said, I'm losing my carrot inside the, okay, that's good. I don't want to spend too much time on this. As I said, I did one of these already. So there's no need to go through showing you how to grate carrot 2 times when all of you probably know very well how to use a grater. So this one also gets a lovely, lovely dressing. And it's kind of cool because at least the way I learned to do it is that you make the dressing sort of on the raisins. And I'm just going to use a few because this is a small amount of salad here. So for the large salad, you would want to do about, probably 4 carrots like this, about half a cup of raisins. You would use about a 1/4 cup of olive oil to maybe even almost half a cup. Then you're going to do, in the big one, you would do 2 tablespoons. We're going to do maybe half a tablespoon for this. That capful is about half a tablespoon. And we're going to put a little bit of salt. Not too much. That's good, I think. And I'm going to put this back in here. Okay. A tiny bit of pepper. Remember, salt and pepper is to your taste. I like a little more pepper. And then it gets a touch of cinnamon. A touch of ginger. And in this case, we're just going to do the juice of half a lemon, but you would do definitely you need about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice for the larger amount. I always do it over my hands to catch the seeds, because the juice will just go right through your fingers. I'm going to quickly check on my. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off now. We're going to leave it covered though so that it'll steam a little bit. And then we're going to stir this together. You might want to just taste real quick. Yes, and then you're going to add the last ingredient, which is honey. And that'll be enough honey there, right there. Once the honey is fully incorporated with the olive oil and lemon juice, then you're going to pour it over. You're going to toss it. Again, if you can make this the night before, it's amazing. So you're going to want a little bit of mint to garnish this. I'm just going to ball it up like that. We're just going to sort of chiffonade it. Or in other words, make sort of like ribbons of it. There you go. I'm just going to kind of spread that around a little bit. And there you go. That's the carrot raisin Moroccan salad. So now we're going to finish off our makuda. Going to add a tiny bit more olive oil that hasn't been heated. And for a full recipe of this, you would want to do a whole tablespoon, but for this tiny amount, we're just going to do a teaspoon. Oh, not that much of a teaspoon. Come on. Okay, good. There we go. All right. And then a little bit of salt and pepper to this. And then you're going to just stir all that together. And you're just going to transfer it to a bowl. Give it just a little flourish of olive oil over the top. And then you're going to take and give it a little bit of parsley and cilantro. I have a little bit of both here. And you're going to just snip that in there. Of course, for a larger one, if you wanted, you could take it and ball it up and walk a knife over it for a larger amount. Although for the amount I did last night, I still did just a snipping technique on the herbs for that one also. Pull that little stem out. And then you're going to just sort of toss that together. And there's the makuda. And as I said, I have more of this already made. These are just to show you the technique and how they're put together. I'm going to wipe this down one more time. And now we are going to do what is known as makuda. My friend that is holding my computer for me right now so that y'all can see what I'm doing was actually with me in Morocco this past summer, and she got to have the version of makuda that they often sell on the streets. It's also very popular at Ramadan. The version we're doing today is one that is frequently done at home. And the ones that you get on the street, and sometimes people do them at home now too, because these are something that are, those are a little more modern. They are made in little patties, and then oftentimes they're stuffed into clubs or into batboot, which we have batboot at the table. I'll show you that a little bit later. It's a little puffy bread that usually has a pocket in it, but it's a little different from like what you would think of as an Israeli pita or a Middle Eastern pita or Middle Eastern khubz, which is what we often hear of as flatbread in the Middle East. But in Morocco, khubz is any leavened bread. Okay, so for this, you're going to the amount that you have in your ingredients list that is associated with this video is 2 pounds of potatoes that you're going to peel, quarter, and boil till soft. And then you're going to add salt and pepper to taste. You're going to add about 3 cloves of minced garlic to that. I did that last night. I didn't want to be spending a lot of time on boiling potatoes today. And so then you just mash them with a potato masher. And you're going to then also add into this chopped parsley. So we're going to chop this parsley really quickly. I'm going to ball it up so that we can chop it. You're just going to walk your knife over it. Let me move that a little bit so you can see better. You're just going to walk your knife over it back and forth, collecting, walking, collecting, walking, collecting, walking. Okay, that was collecting and now walking again. You want it to be fairly fine. So I'm going to walk it one more time. It doesn't have to be, so fine that it's like a powder, but you want it to be pretty fine because you don't want it to distribute through your mixture. So we're going to add this into the mashed potatoes with our garlic, salt, and pepper that's already in there. And then we're going to take and we're going to just blend this together first. In the larger portion, with 2 pounds of potatoes, it calls for 8 eggs. So you can imagine, it calls for a lot. I'm only going to be using 1 egg in this because this is probably like 1 potato. So I'm only going to use 1 egg here. Just going to crack the egg in. Beat the egg slightly. And then you're just going to blend this. It's got to be thoroughly, thoroughly blended till it becomes homogeneous. Now, you can also make this same makuda, and for holidays, Jews in Morocco oftentimes will stuff it with meat, and you can make the mixture. You can spread half of it in a pan, and then you can take meat that's already cooked, like ground meat, already cooked, and put over that layer, and then you can take the rest of it and spread over the top, and then bake it. And this gets baked in the oven. The smaller versions that you get on the street in Morocco have less egg in them and are made into small patties that are tossed in breadcrumbs and fried. They're lovely too. Same seasonings and everything, just a different technique for cooking. So we're going to put this into a ramekin, and we're going to want that ramekin to be well oiled, because you're going to have to, once it's cooked, you're going to have to be able to easily remove it, usually by inverting a plate. Okay, so you're just going to work that around so that you get the walls of your ramekin covered with oil. And then you're simply going to, sorry, I should put my screen down. And you're just going to spoon this mixture into your ramekin, or you can do this in a big, in a large round cake pan, or a big round, a flat sort of pie dish, glass pie dish would also work for the larger amount. So you're just going to put it in here, and then you are going to flatten out the top nicely. And it's going to go into a 375-degree oven, but through the magic of video, as you always hear, we have a larger version that we'll pull out, and then I'll show you how it's going to look when it comes out of the oven. Takes about 45 to 55 minutes, depending upon your oven. You want it at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so now we are going to, first I'm going to quickly walk these salads into the table. And then we are going to use a plate. We're going to invert our makuda onto a plate this way. And if you'll follow me. For service, you're going to invert it again onto a serving plate, just like this. We'll do a little garnish of parsley quickly. Of course, you would probably have more time, and you could maybe do parsley all the way around, maybe even with a lemon rose or something of that nature. And then you're simply going to cut this to serve. You're going to just cut it into wedges. You can serve a whole wedge like this, or you could cut it across this way and make it like into little cubes to make smaller sizes. Now, let's go get our tea. no Moroccan repast of any kind is complete without Moroccan mint tea. So we're going to pour the tea from this kettle into our serving teapot. I'm just going to take this back. And then we're going to sacrifice our first cup. And I can hold it. We're going to sacrifice our first cup. Okay. Then you're going to pour for each guest. You're going to pour a cup. I have a friend here, so I'm going to do 2 cups. You're going to pour this back into the pot. So the idea here is that you are fully aerating the tea, removing any bitterness that might still be in the tea, and making it ready to serve. You would let it sit for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and pour just so that you can see this technique. So you're going to start here, and then you are going to lift up. And this further aerates the tea. It'll leave a little bit of foam for a second or two on top of the cup, and that's how you know that you've aerated the tea. All right, so now I will be happy to answer questions. All right. I did add cinnamon into the carrot salad. You want to probably start your matbucha out on a high heat to get them going, and then once they're starting to soften, then turn it down to a medium heat and kind of keep it at a medium heat. Do we have other questions? Okay, I don't see any other questions. Oh, let's see, maybe there's something in the chat. It looks like maybe some stuff went in the chat. Where did I get my kettle? The kettle I got at Babylon Market here in Tucson on Alvernon and Speedway. I believe it, no, it's not Alvernon. Yes, it is, right? Alvernon and Speedway. Yeah. The water, you want to just fill your teapot with water. And especially if you have the basket, you want to make sure it fills it enough that your basket is sitting down in the water so that the tea and the mint can fully steep. Yes, I think there are other cooking episodes. Oh, that's so sweet. I don't really think I am ready for Food Network, but thank you for saying that. Yes, I think there are other cooking episodes available. Also, I believe that they're going to record, this is being recorded, and it will be uploaded to YouTube. And I think you'll be able to access that. So for this tiny amount that I did, That was actually about half of a tablespoon. I mean, about half of maybe a teaspoon. But for a larger amount, you would do actually 2 tablespoons for, like, if you did 4 large carrots and half a cup of raisins. Are there specific cooking rules for men and women? That's really interesting. Okay. So as I mentioned, I forgot to show you a couple of things. So I'll answer that as I do something here. As I mentioned earlier, each person's going to get their own little serving of this, and you can see it's soaked up, and it could sit a lot longer and soak up more, but everybody gets their own little serving. And then this is the batboot. So in terms of cooking rolls, which can be used to stuff with the to stuff with the salads, because normally everything is eaten with bread and with the hands, so you can actually stuff your salads into the batboot. So generally, home cooking is the realm of women, and cooking professionally is most often the realm of men. Grilling all across the Minas area is pretty much the sort of purview of men, but lots of men love to cook in Morocco. Moroccan men they're super macho for the most part, but they're actually really, a lot of them are really into cooking. I mean, like home cooking, every kind of cooking. So in Morocco, it is a little different than it is in a lot of other places in the Minas area, although I think that's just changing all across the region now. Cooking has become such a popular sort of entertainment, and people really are proud of their cooking skills when they develop them and they want to share them with everybody. So I think men are cooking more and more everywhere. Okay, are there any other questions that I can answer? All right, well, I certainly hope that you have enjoyed this demonstration. I hope that you learned a little bit about Moroccan Jewish cooking. I will also mention that Moroccan Jewish cooking is very heavily influenced by the Spanish cooking of the Middle Ages, but it is also very influenced by whatever community in which Jews found themselves. So you will see the influences of MENA and of Spain in the cooking of Jews from Spain. And so I really hope that you enjoy it. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate sharing it with you. It was my pleasure. Everyone, thank you so much for coming. Okay, I'm gonna sign off now. All right, bye-bye.